Jai Hind to all. Myself, Dr. Yugendra Prajapati, Assistant Professor at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today, I am going to teach a very important topic of the computer architecture, that is known as the addressing mode. So, this topic is very important with respect to the university examination and also the GATE examination. Some numeric problem is asked into the GATE examination, 1 or 2 marks, and full question asked in the university examination, that is 7 marks or 10 marks. So I am going to discuss what is the addressing mode. Now the first one, before discuss the different type of the addressing mode and what are the different example of the addressing mode, then first we discuss basic definition of the addressing mode. Now what is the addressing mode? That is a different way or a different method by which source of the operand. Now basically in our addressing mode, we going to deal with the operand and how the operand are executed into a CPU. Basically this topic we are going to discuss. Now an instruction are known as the addressing mode. With the dealing of the operand, how this operand are associated with the instruction, this concept is known as the addressing mode. Now there are the different type of the operand associated with the instruction. So different method is followed up. So according to that, addressing mode are classified basically in 5 types. In basic computer architecture, that is the 8085 consists of the 5 addressing mode. But when microprocessor are changed, that is 8086 next generation, the instruction are changed, then operand are changed, then method are changed. So addressing mode is also changed in the different microprocessor. Currently there is a total 9 different type of the addressing mode are working, but basic terminology, that is the basic 5 addressing mode are working. Now the first one, that is very simple, that is immediate addressing mode. Now immediate, that word sounds immediate operand are associated with the instruction, then such type of the addressing mode is known as the immediate addressing mode. Examples and better understanding, we go to the next slide. Now the next one is the register addressing mode. Here is a register, it means operand associated with the register, then we can say that that is known as the register addressing mode. Now the third one is, that is the most important addressing mode, that is known as the direct addressing mode. In this mode, actually an operand associate direct with memory, so that it is called the direct addressing mode. Now the fourth one is known as register indirect. In register addressing mode, simply an operand are associated with the register, but register indirect addressing mode, operand are associated with the register and that register associate the another address of the register. It means operand directly cannot access by the register, it require the some address, so it is called as the indirect addressing mode. Now the next one is the index addressing mode. In this addressing mode, operand need the indexing address, so it is known as the index addressing mode. Now we move on the first, second, third, fourth, fifth addressing mode one by one. Now the first one is the immediate addressing mode. Immediate addressing mode. In this addressing mode, now the source operand is constant. Source operand is constant. That is the main identification of this immediate addressing mode. The source operand is constant. And in immediate addressing mode, when the instruction is assembled, the operand comes immediately after the opcode, and this constant is placed this sign. Before this sign, before the constant, this operand, and some book use this sign. Both signs are used in immediate addressing mode. Now, constant are directly accessed by the instruction. That is the immediate addressing mode. This addressing mode can use the load the information into any to the register, including the data point register. Operand or constant can store any kind of the register. That is very simple. Now, that is the main example of the immediate addressing mode. Now, this constant value, now this one refer to the immediate addressing mode. What is this meaning? Load 25H into a register. That is very simple. This constant R move means load into this particular register. Now, this is known as the immediate addressing mode. Now, this is another example, that is very simple example. Now, 62 constant, now load the decimal value 62 into a R2 register. Sorry, R4 register. Here is R4 register. That's clear. Immediate operand are associated with the instruction. That is one line definition. Now, these are the two better example for understanding the immediate addressing mode. Now, this is another example of the immediate addressing mode. Now, this hexadecimal values are moved into this register. So, that is the another example. Without example, you cannot write anywhere. Now, this is the another example for the better understanding how the count, the number of the operand are transferred into the register. Now, we use the very simple count EQ30. Now, move R4, that is the count. This is the constant variable. Now, metadif, and in origin register, that is 200. Now, this value, this constant value are transferred into the register. Now, this is the another example by which we can understand the basic understanding of the immediate addressing mode. Now, this is another example for the better understanding. Or now, this one is used for this port 8051 port. That is another type of the microcontroller. Use this addressing mode, that is known as the immediate addressing mode. This value are transferred into this register. Now, that is next one addressing mode, that is known as the register addressing mode. Here is the big role play the register. It means an operand associated with the register. Operand. Now, the address mode involves the use of the register to hold the data to be manipulated. It means data is held by the register is known as the register addressing mode. Now, for the better understanding, these are the some example for the register addressing mode. Now, this one is the register, or this one is the another type of the memory allocation, or we can say that the register. Now, what is the meaning? The copy content of R0 into a memory allocation, or we can say that A is a different type of the register. It means in R0 contain the some values. Now, this is the R0, or it contained the some value. This value in copy into the A. Now, this is the meaning of this instruction. Now, another one, just reverse. The content of A can copied into the register. I already told that here is a big role of the register. Now, here is the copy content of the A into a R2 register. Now, it means what is this meaning? The content of A in R2 or the content of R0 in R1. Then another instruction, R5, the content of R5 add in content of A. They add the content of R5 into the content of A. Suppose that
in R5 register contain the value 10 and in A register contain the 15, then what is this instruction done? The content of any 10 plus 15, that is the 25. This value result of this instruction, and now this instruction perform the register addressing mode. Now this is another example of the register addressing mode. We can also use this register, that is, and the content of A in this register, but in register addressing mode, this type of the register is not allowed, will give an error. Only register are allowed. This register DPTR, data point terminal register, are not allowed. It means this and this, the movement of data between the register are not allowed. Okay. Now this is one is also is invalid statement. Now we move on the third addressing mode. That is the very simple. That is the basic terminology. We understand only this register. We understand only this register only. Now indirect addressing mode. Here is a big role of the indirect addressing mode, that is known as the memory. Big play role of the RAM or memory in direct addressing mode. Big play role of the register in register addressing mode. Now in indirect addressing mode, the data is in RAM located which address is known, and when data are stored into the memory, it means we require the address of the memory, and this address is given by the part of the instruction, and instruction give the address of the memory directly. So it is called the direct address mode. Constant this with the immediate addressing mode, in which direct operand itself provide the instruction. In direct addressing mode, direct operand are provided to the instruction, but in direct addressing mode, the operand of the address is in here, memory. That is the big difference between immediate addressing mode and direct addressing mode. In direct addressing mode, we need the address of the memory. Now direct addressing mode, these are the some another terminology. In this mode, an operand is specified into the 8-bit address. 8-bit address, why we are using the 8-bit address? Because a microprocessor are using 8-bit, so memory is also 8-bit. Fill the instruction. Okay. Now once can access all 120 byte of the instruction RAM located in FCR. So with the help of the 8-bit address, we can access the whole RAM. Okay. Now these are the some very most important example of the direct addressing mode. Now the location, this one location, it means here is a RAM, and RAM has a different type of the location 00H, and another location is 7FH. Now here is a some value 1, 2, 3, 4, and here is a blank memory allocation. It means from this memory allocation, this data are transferred into this memory allocation, internal RAM. Now check the examples. Now from this memory allocation, data are transferred into this memory allocation, that is the direct addressing mode. Now simply we take the another example. From this memory allocation, this address is associated with RAM, this address is associated with RAM. From RAM or main memory, from this address, data are transferred into this memory allocation. Similarly, from this to this. This is another example for better understanding of the direct addressing mode. From this memory allocation, data content are transferred from this register. Say, save now this one, RAM, location 40H2R0. Now, this is the meaning of this instruction. Now, we move to the next example. Now, what is the next example? That is save the content of the A in RAM. What is the location? 50H. The content of A are saved into the memory allocation, or that memory allocation is known as the 50H, which is associated with the RAM. So, that is one major point in direct addressing mode. The big play role of the RAM or big play role of the memory. Now, these are the some more example about the direct addressing mode. Now, from this content use this location, this content use this location, this register, from this register use this memory allocation, from this register to this memory allocation. That is very simple. This is the example of the direct addressing. This is another example. Here is we are using the stack with the direct addressing mode. Now, 5 push into the stack. Now, push register A into the stack. Now, this, the allocation of the stack this, and from this allocation, this value is pop and pop is 2. Now, that is another important of the direct addressing mode. Now, the next one is the register in direct addressing mode. In register direct addressing mode, the big play role of the register, simply transfer the content register to register, register to memory, memory to register. But in indirect register, when data are transferred into a register, then here another address of the register are stored, 20H, and from this location another register R2, then content of A are transferred. It means data operand are directly not transferred into a register. It use the some address. Then using this address, data are transferred. Now, in register indirect addressing mode, register use a pointer. Now, this is the address to fetch for the data. Okay, we need the another address. Now, if the data is inside the PC, only the R1 and R2 are used to propose for this. In other words, R2 and R7 cannot be used hold the address of the operand. It located into a RAM using this addressing mode. Now, this one, the best example of this one is invalid. Invalid instruction. Now, this one is a valid instruction. Now, here the address of R2 register transfer into a content of A. Move the content of the RAM address, it is held by this register into a A. Direct the content of R0 are not transferred into a A. The address of the R0 are transferred into A, and on that particular address another operand are find. Okay. Now, this is another example for the register indirect addressing mode. For the best understanding, we take another topic, important topic in the next lecture. Thank you.